Hello, my name is Matt Coulter. I'm the Director of Field Services and Certification for Washington State University. Thank you for taking the time to view this mentor-teacher orientation. We're going to review just some of the expectations as far as supervising, mentoring a teacher candidate this school year. So thank you for being a mentor. My background is I was a teacher in the state for 22 years, and in that time, I had 6 different student teachers that came through my classroom, and of those 6, they were all so different from one another, and there were, strengths and weaknesses of each one, but it was something that helped me grow as a teacher and provided an opportunity to give back. I can remember my student teaching like it was last week, and it was, I don't know, 1994 is when I student taught, and it was definitely a memorable experience, and I am thankful for the mentors that I had that provided a career for me as an educator. And you could probably think back to your mentors from student teaching as well, and this is an opportunity for you to be the kind of mentor that you either had or wish you had. So thank you again. Your role is not only the giving back part of the role, but we also want to support you and make your life easier. And oftentimes having a teacher candidate, somebody who has gone through the coursework, they've gone through practicums, they've been interviewed, they've taken content exams, they are ready to go, and they are ready to work for you, and you're going to provide all kinds of opportunities for them. Remember, you get clock hours out of this, you get a stipend out of this, we usually include some kind of gift out of this, but most important is you're part of a legacy. Washington State University has been putting out teachers in our state for many, many years and decades, and you are now part of the giving back as far as this profession, and we cannot thank you enough for that. We do understand this year is going to be a different kind of year, teaching kind of through the COVID pandemic, and we are prepared for this, and we are working hard to prepare our candidates, and we understand that that you will be working hard to adjust to this new type of teaching, whether it's virtual, whether it's synchronous, whether it's asynchronous, whether the kids come back to your classroom. Teaching and education can take many different forms, and so we understand that, and it's even more reason to thank you. So I'm going to go through just a couple reminders with you, provide you a little bit of information. I've got a PowerPoint here that that will help me kind of do so. So let me kind of scroll back here. All right, so yes, this is our orientation. One thing that I want to bring to your attention is most programs have a handbook, and we take a lot of pride in our handbook. It's kind of the information, so that we're all on the same page. Things like substitute teaching, lesson plans, COVID safety guidelines, edTPA, all sorts of things are in this handbook. So please take some time and just look it over and maybe go through it with your teacher candidate. Our goals: we want this to be a win for everybody. We want to make your life easier, and that you are happy to have that extra support, that extra help in your classroom. We want this to be a win for the students in your classroom, that they have an extra set of eyes and ears and support for them. And then, of course, our teacher candidate, we want this to be a successful experience for them. They are paying tuition, and their tuition is all about an internship. And most professions provide an internship, and it just goes back to you learn by doing. And so as much opportunity that you can provide the teacher candidate is wonderful, because they're going to grow with every opportunity as a beginning teacher. And then bottom line is we have to determine if they are going to be recommended for certification. And with certification becomes the opening of a door to eventual employment. And is this somebody who we trust to take over a classroom? Do they have what it takes to join this profession that you and I know so well? And it takes a special skill set of really liking kids and loving what you do to be good at teaching. As far as evaluations, the two big ones is, the first one is we call it the PDEFE, and it's professional dispositions. They're standards we get from the state, and we simplify them to 10 areas of teacher development, and they either meet these standards or they don't. And if they meet them, then we can recommend them. And so you'll play a part in evaluating your teacher candidate on various parts of teaching, such as communication, professionalism, assessment, planning, all these things that make up teaching. The other is the edTPA, and this is a state law requirement. This is one that many teachers, have not had to do unless you have been certified within the last 8 to 10 years. It's something that our students pay $300, and they demonstrate that they understand lesson planning, assessment. They understand and can demonstrate student engagement, questioning strategies, and they just kind of build up this big portfolio. It takes quite a bit of time, and it's connected to quite a few rubrics, and it's a proving to the state that they understand the different components of teaching. So you may not have had to do this, but you understand lesson planning and assessments, and so you can definitely offer support to the candidates on this. They also have the opportunity to get a lot of support in their seminars from their supervisors. We offer workshops. We have a website. So don't feel like this is something you have to take on. This is something that our university really supports our candidates with. And we have like a 98% pass rate on the edTPA because of the support that we provide for them. And so we're looking at 3 components to developing a beginning teacher. Student teaching is the big one, and that's kind of where your role is. And then we provide seminar and support of approving it with the edTPA. And so here's another way of looking at it. You kind of oversee the student teaching. We have supervisors that oversee the seminar, and then the teacher candidate will be responsible for the edTPA. The biggest thing that we ask of you is really kind of share the behind the scenes of what really makes good teaching. From the planning to the transitions to the follow-up. This is your world, and you're giving a student an opportunity to kind of learn how things work. You're the boss, and they know that, and we know that, and we want to follow your lead with it. But at the same time, put the candidates to work. They are energetic, and they are excited for this opportunity. We also have supervisors, and supervisors are there to support you and the teacher candidate. And so feel free to communicate at any time with the supervisors in regard to setting goals and supporting the teacher candidate. And then the teacher candidate themselves, we ask that they're all in, and that they are their best selves and really make the most of this opportunity. And we preach that professionalism is so important, being prepared is important, positivity, especially this year, we're going to really need that positive environment for everybody, being persistent and just present, just be all in with it. Key to good teaching and a good student teaching experience is communication. And so do the best that you can in asking those hard questions and kind of go beyond the surface and have deep conversations, build up that level of trust between you and your student teacher. And within the handbook, we'll have different reflection questions or goals that you're welcome to use. It's not a requirement, but it helps as far as building that framework for communication. The timeline for student teaching, this is going to be kind of mixed up a little bit this year with COVID, virtual learning. For student teaching, we want to get as close to 16 weeks as we can, make the most out of this opportunity, but we realize that the schedules look very different this year. And so, do not feel obligated to that it has to be a certain way, that you're the boss as far as the timeline goes. If you are mentoring an advanced practicum student, they're 4 to 6 weeks, and if it's an MIT pre-internship, they're 2 days a week. Again, the timeline, we encourage co-teaching. That's a good model. It'll probably be a very good model for virtual learning this year as well. There's no requirement on solo teaching, but it helps if a student has an opportunity to design their own lesson, to try to teach their own lesson, assess their own lesson. But again, we'll let you be the judge as far as the timeline goes. The handbook has a suggested timeline in it that is a little bit more detailed than this. Feel free to look at it and follow it if you would like. For some reason, if a student teacher candidate is not working out, communicate with your supervisor. Usually it's professionalism, or they just don't have it, and that'll show up on their evaluation. It's very rare, but it occasionally does happen, and so communicate with your supervisor as far as steps go. And then really enjoy the experience. We know it's going to be adventure. Teaching is always an adventure, but teaching during a pandemic is even more of an adventure. And so, try to make the most of it and utilize this opportunity of having a teacher candidate who is ready to go support you. And that's really what this is all about, is serving the needs of students. Here's my email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Other than that, have a wonderful year. And again, we cannot thank you enough. And as always, go Cougs. Have a great year.